How you personally define adulting, and since we're the financial coconut, you can define it in relation to money, and of course other aspects as well.
I guess if you look online, the definition is something like the assumption of tasks, responsibilities, or behaviors that you associate with what a mature grown up or adult will do. If I think, what are the first steps to
Yeah.
adulting?
When did you first okay, I'm adulting? Now I'm an adult and I have adult responsibilities.
I think it comes with, and the realization can happen at any point of your life, right? It's not really tied to an age, like when you graduate, although that's when it happens for most people. Come to the realization that you are responsible for your own life and for sustaining that life. And it can also come together with realizing that you might be responsible for someone else's life. It could be your parents, it could be your children if you're in that stage already. It's like understanding that you have that burden of responsibility on you, and then taking steps to do the things that would help you support and sustain that life. I think many associate adulting with very straightforward, like financial related tasks, or like knowing what phone plan to choose, or understanding CPF, or knowing what the heck are taxes and how much you have to pay. And these are for sure like the low hanging fruit of things that you should ideally seek to know more about, not for its own sake, but because these are things that you have to do in the context of the society that you are in. It's part of you wanting to be a functional member of society in the context of the place that you live in. And so this can differ from place to place.
How did you get started? Like when did you realize that, okay, I have to be an adult?
I think the financial management came before the like concrete realization that I have to be the adult now. And that was when I was in JC. For the first time, I got my own money through a scholarship. So that was the first time I thought, okay, I have to manage this somehow. And then I was 16 at the time, which is when you can get an ATM card. So that's when I started tracking what I was spending on. And a lot of it was like food and whatever other things that I could buy online. Of course, at that time, I didn't know about investing. I didn't know about any sort of budgeting framework. All I knew was that I needed to write down what I was spending on and how much money I had left. So that was the very, very foundation. That feeling of adulting is also about maturity, right? And not just about the things that you do, but your relationships with people and how you treat them and how you are around them. That maturing is part of the adulting journey, I think. That came to me much later after I graduated, when I had to start supporting my family. And I knew that I needed to carry myself in a certain way and make decisions in a certain way that is influenced by my circumstances and wanting to have the best possible situation for them, whatever resources we had to work with. When I was in my final semester, my father passed away. So he was the primary breadwinner and manager of the household in that sense. After he passed away, I am the oldest in the family, so I took over because my mother is not educated and she's also not Singaporean. So there were a lot of things that I had to learn. The worst case scenario is, of course, like she cannot stay in the country. So that was my perspective. Like, how do I keep her here with my family so that we
can stay together as a family unit, right?
Yeah. At the time, we were staying with my father's sister. So in terms of like having a roof over our heads, having food on the table, that wasn't really the issue immediately. And so I was kind of shielded from that also. So I assumed responsibility, but I think only in name, with the understanding that, okay, the responsibilities maybe will come later in terms of the actual work that I have to do. And it did come later. It came in 2020 when I made a decision to move my family out. And so from there, I had already been working for about 6 months, was also at the time reading a lot about personal finance. Now that I had an income, now that I had a family to support, I was wondering what is the best way to work with what I had to support my mother. And at the time also, my brother was just finishing up his junior college. And then from there, it's just like a ongoing list of things that I am learning about and executing. So having to buy the house, that was a big thing. And I had to do that by myself because my mother couldn't buy a house, obviously. And I'm the one with the job. And then after getting the house, okay, how do I make the house livable? How do I renovate it? What electricity retailer do I go with? I mean, even before the house, I was reading up on investing. What the heck are ETFs and unit trusts, and where do I put my money? What is trustworthy? It's just an ongoing list of things that you move forward to learn about, because with knowledge comes the power to make educated and intentional decisions. I was just absorbing everything that I could, learning everything that I could in order to live what I thought was the best life within my means right now.
So the situation with your mom and the passing of a dad, and that is really a level up in terms of adulting. And like you said, we are still adulting at this point of time in our lives.
The list never ends.
Yeah,